Did the Coruscant Guard get raised on Kamino or Coruscant? Some comments we've seen claim that the Coruscant Guard was raised completely on Coruscant. We don't know if this is somebody's headcanon, something someone wrote in a comic, or it was meant to be a joke. Either way, before we continue, let me ask this. Does this really make sense?
Let's play out the situations. If they were raised on Kamino, they would have trained in secret alongside their brothers to kill droids for a coming war. Brought to Coruscant after they're all revealed, retrained by the police to protect the populace, and placed into police roles to slow the rising crimes that follow while being the last line of defense.
If they were raised on Coruscant, they would have been trained in secret separate from their identical brothers on Kamino to hunt down traitors for a coming war, let loose on the populace directly after the reveal, and automatically placed into police roles to slow down the rising crimes that follow while being the last line of defense. They sound similar, but the difference in effectiveness is huge when you break down what would have needed to make this happen.
On Kamino, they have professional cloning facilities that have all the resources to create, train, feed, dress, and care for clones in secret. Implanting the clones with chips would be a quick and painless procedure done before birth. They have a strict policy on who they let in, so they would only let in the best bounty hunters to train their high-quality clones. These bounty hunters even being heavily scrutinized during training. They're even microdosing the clones with various diseases to ensure that they don't die from poor immune systems a few days into the job. They deliberately teach the clones only what they should know to be good soldiers. Since it's really early in the war, retraining a few thousand Protect wouldn't be that hard. Once the clones are on Coruscant, they would need to learn how to interact with people and identify innocent from guilty while they settle into their new environment. The local police would be the ones to train them since they already know what to do. They would only be looked down upon by the field troops and Jedi due to misunderstanding their position and duties.
On Coruscant, they don't have proper cloning facilities, room, or seclusion to raise several thousand clones. The Kaminoans don't like selling their technology, and so you would have to get the devices from more questionable sources. Not easy or cheap to smuggle. That includes their armor and chips. The chips would likely be installed after birth and result in a lot of suspicious scars or deaths from infection, depending on who installs them. Sneaking in food to feed the clones would have made people suspicious and attract unwanted attention. Their training would come from any ex-cop who would have been paid to keep their mouths shut. Their accents would also lean towards Coruscanti instead, unlike your average clone. You would clearly hear this in Fox, Thyre, and Stone.
Stand down.
We all share the same face.
Oh, you're right. Bomb-back clankers.
Well, I thought it was obvious.
Their care would be difficult since the only places that could hold several thousand clones would be in the rat-infested abandoned warehouse district, most of those not being abandoned until the middle of the war. Jango would be paid to train both groups, making his presence there very suspicious. Once set off into the streets, people would question where these clones came from since no ships dropped them off and create a possible investigation by the Jedi. These low-quality clones would die quickly and or become unpredictable towards field clones. They would be so confused to why they share a face with these guys. Their armor would be of another style because Kaminoans don't like to share. Plus, they would get replaced by those from Kamino anyway, making the whole thing convoluted, twice as expensive, and unnecessary.
As we pointed out, they were trained by the police, so they are now police. They investigate and protect against crime. The field troops have spent the entire war on the attack. This is what truly divides the Coruscant Guard from the field troops. We'll dive deep into this in a later video.
The Coruscant Guard would have the advantage of getting more education, but that would happen whether or not they were raised on Coruscant. Their jobs wouldn't be any different, but their methods would. Plus, they wear the same armor and even have new armor imported that looks just like their brothers. When you look at the show, there is a lot of scenes that tell you directly that they're from Kamino. Their bio also says that they are raised on Kamino.
The only reason people try to separate them further from the field troops is to make it easier to vilify them, but this backfires when you realize how much it would take to raise the clones on Coruscant. Fox wouldn't be highly decorated because he wouldn't have gotten as good training, but he would have been able to recognize the difference between a suicide droid and a cleaning droid on site, had Coruscant been his home. Also, it's unlikely that you would have seen them on Kamino after Order 66.
Shock troopers? What's the Coruscant Guard doing here? This isn't a drill.
And that's what we got. Bye!